Hello, this is Michelle Aaron with the LaRouche organization for this week's Battle Report with on-the-ground organizing of the International LaRouche Movement. This week is January 15th, and it's a very pensive moment in the country and in the world as we know the coming inauguration of President-elect Trump and activities that are already taking place in Washington, D.C., with the confirmation hearings of many of Trump's appointees. Now, the big mistake would be to merely wait and see. We have not yet been rendered unnecessary in conveying the policies and ideas of LaRouche, the solutions to the onrushing financial crisis, the already taking place economic crisis, and obviously a tremendous instability in the world situation. So we're going to cover three very exciting organizing areas this week, starting with some of our activities in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, then going to some more regional areas, organizing in Texas, Connecticut, and California. So we're going to start again in Washington, D.C. The LaRouche organization has put out a new report, if you want to show the report, about the Liars Bureau, looking at the question of who's trying to block the confirmations of potentially very good members of this coming administration. Who's trying to block the nomination of Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence, of Gabbard Patel as Director of the FBI? And the argument, you can find the whole report on the website as you see here. The argument does not say that these individuals are necessarily perfect and that every single policy, every single thought that they have is right. But they have qualified themselves as members of a potentially good administration through challenging the intelligence apparatuses who have been leading us awry. So let's go ahead, please, to our video from our organizers, Tim Rush and Jerry Belsky, today in Washington, D.C.
This is Jerry Belsky and my associate Tim Rush with the LaRouche organization. We're right here in front of the Committee on the Judiciary, where there will be hearings on Gabbard Patel over the Intelligence Committee on Tulsi Gabbard. And today we are distributing this special aid memoir, The Liars Bureau, to make it clear that Gabbard Patel and has to be confirmed as director of the FBI, and Tulsi Gabbard has to be confirmed as the director of national intelligence, because the key qualification is that they've gone after this secret network apparatus, what some people call deep state, and they've shown the integrity of actually attacking the lies of these circles in the intelligence community and the justice, such as the weapons of mass destruction, we've worried about what they caused the Iraq War, the chemical weapons that did not exist in Syria that were carried out. They did exist in some cases, but they were ascribed to the Syrian government. These are the kind of things that Tulsi Gabbard has attacked, along with the mass surveillance and spying. In the case of Gabbard Patel, he's gone after the whole network he calls the deep state of people who need to be cleaned out. And it's this network which has to be removed if there's going to be any change in policy in the United States, such as a new economic order, such as the question of ending the threat of nuclear war, and collaborating with the countries of the global South. And most importantly, this is the network in the Department of Justice and the Intelligence Community, which went after the statesman and economist Lyndon LaRouche, framed him up, sent him to jail, and have tried vilifying him ever since. And these are the people who are saying that Tulsi Gabbard and Gabbard Patel are not qualified for their positions.
Subject to task The subtitle on the dossier, the Liars Bureau, who wants to block the confirmation of Tulsi Gabbard and Patel, and what are they trying to hide? And the key question that we're getting into the offices here in the Senate today is, what are they hiding? How do we get at it? How do we turn the table? So instead of a whole bunch of the neocons in both parties undermining these nominations, which are vital to be able to shut down what this Liars Bureau, we're putting the pressure back on those who are the accusers of Gabbard and Patel. I should add that the question of the near-miss assassination of soon to be, again, President Trump last summer on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, should remind everyone that we're not just dealing with a Liars Bureau, we're dealing with an assassination bureau. And this has struck, obviously, the most completely in people's living memory, Kennedy, both Kennedys, Martin Luther King, and so forth. It has struck, it almost killed the Prime Minister of Slovakia last May. It came close to killing Trump. This is for getting out this dossier right now. And I urge everybody listening and watching this little message from us, get on the horn to Congress and get to the local officers, demand that they read this document, that they act on it now, because it is we're dealing with an apparatus that will not shy even from assassination in order to preserve its permanent bureaucratic behind-the-scenes control. A lot of it is directed from London. The dossier provides chapter and verse on how that works. This could be the most important element of the next 2 to 3 weeks while these hearings are going on, to free this country of something dating back to the assassination of Kennedy, which has turned us in economically, socially, politically in the wrong direction. So we urge everyone to get a hold of this report, read it, get it out, call Congress. The number is 202-224-3121, and then ask for your senator's offices and get them the word that they must approve these nominations and approve cleaning out the Liars Bureau.
Excellent. And as Tim said, look, any of us have the right to call into our congressional offices in Washington, D.C. and communicate to them and make demands. So let's go now. You also, aside from Washington, D.C., have access to the district offices of your congressperson, of your senator, and you should get this material, this Liars Bureau report, to the district offices as well, which our organizers in Texas did today.
Good day. This is Joe Jennings with the LaRouche movement down here in Texas, confirming that I and another associate met with the offices, the district offices of our 2 U.S. senators here today. And I will tell you, it's very important that they now have in their hands the documentation that's put forward in their blockbuster dossier, the Liars Bureau. But what we stress beyond that is that our intelligence, the intelligence of the LaRouche movement, is incomparable over generations. And both offices have some knowledge of us over the years. But what was new to them was the documentation we put forward in this, which is the letter that William Webster wrote to the FBI as far back as 1982, demanding that the FBI be deployed to go after LaRouche and his movement, the weaponization of the law. So that went into their hands, but also the documentation of why this is so utterly important, that the head of Stratcom, Rear Admiral Buchanan, is saying that we're battening down the hatches for nuclear war, and this is going to get on the watch of upcoming President Donald Trump. So everyone, I encourage you to call your state senators, drop in on their regional offices, whether they're on the Judiciary or Intelligence Committee or not. They'll all have to decide when it comes to the floor whether Tulsi Gabbard for DNI and Kash Patel for FBI will be able to serve the president and the American people rather than the fake intelligence on behalf of the lawless, rules-based order of London and Wall Street finance. So we're reporting from Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. So please call your local district offices, set up meetings, go to the meetings. If you would like anyone from if you would like assistance, maybe if they're in the area, someone to even come with you to one of these meetings or just give you some tips, contact us at the LaRouche organization. So moving on to another area of necessary intervention is the continuing fight to stop the genocide in Gaza. There are discussions now on a potential ceasefire deal. We need to stop this genocide. And Benjamin Wesley, who ran for Congress last year in the 4th Congressional District of Connecticut, has been participating in a weekly demonstration in front of a major medical center in Connecticut, which he invites people to come join this demonstration and participate in putting on the pressure. And we're now going to hear from him.
Hi, my name is Ben Wesley. I'm here on behalf of the Schiller Institute and the Peace Pact, which is an organization that I founded. I'm currently at Yale New Haven Hospital in Connecticut. I don't know if you can see the sign there. But this is one of the premier medical hospitals in the country and also premier teaching facility. I'm here with a number of organizations, including Doctors Against Genocide chapter here in Connecticut, as well as the members of the Connecticut Palestinian Alliance and the Healthcare Alliance Workers for Palestine, which is a Connecticut-based organization. You can see some of the people in the corner there. You can see them there. There you go. We're here. The hospital has special meaning for me personally, as this is where my son was born. So when I think about the situation for the children of Gaza, it's especially disturbing and heartbreaking. We're here advocating for a number of issues, but specifically an immediate end to the genocide in Gaza, an immediate ceasefire, and as well as the immediate release of Dr. Hussam Abu Safia. Dr. Safia was the director of medicine at Kamal Adwan Hospital. That hospital is the last remaining hospital that was functioning in northern Gaza. Dr. Safia was resisting the IDF from entering the facility and was subsequently kidnapped and is currently under detention in an unknown prison in Israel. As many of you know, hundreds of Palestinian medical staff have been shot systematically in Gaza. There's evidence there's also evidence that they're specifically targeted. So I'm here with my sign. I got a ceasefire sign, as well as some of you. We've been advocating for the demand of the release of Dr. Hussam Abu Safia from Israeli detention. What the QR code does is it links to a form letter for all your federal elected officials demanding that the doctors be released. This vigil that you see people here in the background participating in, this takes place weekly here at Yale Medical. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us. It's either Wednesdays or Thursdays. It takes place at lunchtime, so we get a significant crowd of medical professionals here at their lunch break. So, okay, I'm signing off. Yale New Haven Hospital here in Connecticut. Stay healthy and stay in the fight.
Great. And we'll put in the description how you can get in touch with these guys so that you can join them at the rallies. Let's move now to our final contribution this week to this report, which is in my home state of California, where the recent fires have created tremendous damage. This morning, I heard a report of over $200 billion worth of damage, which is just, it's tremendous. This question of, can we build the projects that we would like to build? Earlier this week, the LaRouche organization put out a video called Build or Burn, NWAPA as the Solution to California's Fires, which pointed out that not only would NWAPA create 14 million jobs, but just the comparison is awesome. The project may cost $200 to $300 billion to build, and we're talking about damage from this fire being the same amount. So we really need to organize. We need to organize for these solutions. And we're going to go now to Lena Platt, a wonderful longtime organizer with the LaRouche organization, with some of her input on the organizing in California.
This is Lena in Los Angeles, just to give a quick perspective on the fires here and what we should do going forward. The most important thing that has not been stressed is the fact that the entire financial system is bankrupt. And the axioms that have governed us since Franklin Roosevelt is that infrastructure is not important, it costs too much money, it's going to hurt Mother Nature, that sort of nonsense. So that you've had a sort of a devil's compact between the environmentalists and the fiscal conservatives to not build infrastructure really for the last 100 years. And so the blame game that's going on is really phony. What's important is that California, being the 5th largest economy in the world, should be looking to, with institutions like the Jet Propulsion Lab here in Los Angeles, here in Pasadena, I'm actually in Pasadena, collaborating with the government of China in particular for the kind of infrastructure projects that the Chinese have been able to build around the world to manage what is a desert. We live in a desert. William Mulholland and others created the miracle to green the desert so that we could live here in Los Angeles and all along the West. But immediately, the Trump administration ought to be talking to Canada and Mexico, and we're very proud of the fact that Mexico has just sent a large contingent of firefighters to Los Angeles. But the incoming administration should be talking to the government of Canada and the government of Mexico about building LaRouche's North American Water and Power Alliance, which was envisioned under President Kennedy and refined and upgraded by LaRouche to bring the water melting from the ice in Alaska all the way down the West Coast into Mexico to irrigate the great American desert. This is a photo of it. You can find it on our website. That is what we need to do. It is also interesting to note that the axioms of our political leaders, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, are being busted, where the opposition to building projects like desalination, like extending the life of nuclear plants and stuff like that, that opposition is now being abandoned. Some of it was actually being abandoned because of the drought about 9 years ago. But that opposition is now being smashed because they're beginning to realize that the reality demands that if we're going to survive in this part of frankly, any place, because you could say Katrina or any other disaster, but if we're going to survive, we've got to start putting money into science and technology, exploring the solar system for things like earthquake precursors and stuff like that, but immediately working together to build the kind of big projects that we have not taken up in the United States and particularly California for probably about 100 years. And we see certain changes where the governor, for example, is now talking about the probability, he says, of a financial downturn this coming year and increasing global instability, his words, this coming year, and talking about a Marshall Plan for infrastructure development in California. That's where we need to go, and we need to avoid all of the silly left versus right, this side versus that side, which is just a smokescreen for getting to the issue of the really criminal negligence over the last particularly 50 years that have put us in this condition. So go to our website and check out the NWAPA project and help us to organize in this new epoch, this new period, a renaissance led by the United States and particularly led by the 5th largest economy in the world, which is California, in bringing mankind into the new century.
Thank you so much, Lena. And the pamphlet Lena was showing you the map from is called The Coming U.S. Economic Miracle on the New Silk Road. It's a beautiful pamphlet. You can find the whole thing downloadable on the LaRouche Organization website, so you can read it yourself. You can send it around, read it to others, make your congressman sit down and read it with you. And just to come back to the focus, we are needed. We are needed to make sure that not merely the coming administration, but that the nation succeeds. And it requires thinking big and thinking outside of the failed axioms of the past 50 to 60 years or longer. So things you can do now and in the immediate period ahead, you can call your representatives and make sure that you draw their attention to the Liars Bureau material that the LaRouche Organization Intelligence has put out. You can sign up for a monthly donation to the LaRouche Organization, which gives you access to our daily alert, our daily news service. So important. You can learn more about the NWAPA project on the website. I would encourage to, if you haven't yet, to read and familiarize yourself with Paul Gallagher's article, Why the New President and Congress Must Nationalize the Federal Reserve, which gets into a very important policy point. And thank you. There's an image of it. And you can continue, you can sign up and participate every Friday morning with the International Peace Coalition meetings that have been taking place for, I believe this week might be the 84th week of the coming together of great minds and activists who are committed to creating peace. And you can get on that meeting. It's Friday mornings at 11 o'clock through the Schiller Institute website. So that's what we have for this week. Thank you. And please, between now and next week, send in to info@laroucheorganization.com your